We're getting ready for race day action to start here at Ridge Motorsports Park, and it'll be race 2 for the Royal Enfield Build Train race class. Ciara Knievel was able to win yesterday's race by dominating proceedings, and it was a last lap battle between Shea McGregor and Miranda Kane that was able to be settled in Shea's favour for the runner-up spot. Steve English, Roger Hayden and Freddie Spencer here in the commentary box at the Ridge, and Freddie, in yesterday's race we were able to see just how good of a job Ciara Knievel can do when she gets to the front.
Well, she had been working all weekend getting the bike set up to work better, and for her coming back from that crash, as we talked about, that she had at MotoAmerica, I think it was important for her to get up to speed kind of slowly, and she put in a good time yesterday. I was talking with her earlier today, and she's eyeing the lap time that Michaela had run before, which was a little bit quicker than they ran yesterday. So we'll see what she can do in race 2.
Rog, we saw it go down to the wire for that battle for second. Where's the key overtaking spots right here?
Down into turn 1, I think, is the biggest one. And from there, the track's really technical, and then a lot of elevation as well, especially over turn 9. I feel it's one of the trickiest corners. Then 11, 12, you get down into 13, and that's where we seen the pass for the podium spots yesterday. Change down the hill all the way through turn 16 on the front straightaway.
See here for the Build Train race class, 8 laps of action upcoming, and they're just making their way around to the grid now as well. And on that pole position, Miranda Kane will be starting there on the 186 machine, and Kane was able to come away with a podium finish in yesterday's race. Ciara Knievel from the middle of the front row of the grid, able to claim that race victory. And a little bit further down the field, Freddie, obviously yesterday we were able to see 8 laps of action. Who are you expecting to come through?
Well, one of the things I talked with Camille yesterday, she was not very happy. She was happy with her start, but going down into turn 1. This is an unusual track where the first corner is a chicane, and she felt she got a little bit squeezed and backed out of it a little bit, and so she knows that if she's going to have a chance to run up front with Miranda and Shea and Ciara, that she's going to have to get a better start. Also, Lucy Blundell, she actually would love to get up there. This is her home race, being from this part of the southern part of Canada, and so she'll want to get a good start.
We'll see her championship standings there as well, with 3 wins from 4 races. Ciara Knievel holding a 5-point lead over Miranda Kane, and they'll be first and second on the grid, with Kane on that pole position as we get ready for racing to get underway here for the Royal Enfield Build Train race class here at the Ridge Motorsports Park. The second race of the weekend for this class is about to get underway, with Miranda Kane on that pole position. And as the red lights come on, Kane makes her start, and off the line it looks like once again Ciara Knievel able to make a good start, but Shea McGregor on the outside the front row with a very quick start. She's going to try and run around the outside of Knievel, but Knievel able to hold that tight line into turn 1 as everyone tries to filter their way through turn 1, turn 2. The chicane, always a tricky spot here at the Ridge, but it looks like our leaders are all clearly through, and once again, Rog, we're able to see that our pole sitter Miranda Kane not able to convert that.
No, and right there in the top 3, you can already see they're kind of slowly starting to pull away, but Ciara, kind of same race as yesterday, she wants to be the one who gets out there early and sets the pace. Yeah,
we saw in yesterday's race, Freddie, that Ciara always able to lead from the front. It took Miranda a little bit of time to come through in Shea McGregor yesterday. She'll know that she can't afford to give up too much of a gap to Ciara at the front.
Well, one of the things that Ciara also, she made a change with their suspension. We talked about it yesterday with the K-Tech suspension system that they're still working through. We went to the single rate rear spring, and this racetrack is very demanding for these bikes, all bikes, of course, around here with the elevation changes. But they seem to be, with the front end, a little bit of a skidding, a little bit of a chatter issue that a lot of the riders have been working through.
See Miranda just trying to run around the outside of Shea McGregor, able to carry that corner speed through there to come through into second spot on the 186 machine, and she's got a little bit of ground to make up on the race leader Ciara Knievel, but at least she's in a position to make that move now, Rog. Yesterday it took her a lot of time to be able to come through in second.
Yeah, and that was a great pass, the way she set that up the corner before, really able to get that run. And like you mentioned yesterday, it took her a little while to work her way into second. So today, I'm sure when she thought about her race yesterday, and I'm sure when she talked about it with Freddie, hey, when the pass is there, take it, as Shea McGregor now comes back.
Yeah, Shea into P2 now on her machine as well, the 457. And Shea's not afraid of making those moves, Freddie. That's good riding by her. She wants to make sure she's able to hold on to that second spot, because she'll also think that she's got the speed to go with Knievel.
Yes, I know that Shea is the same thing. She working toward getting the suspension system better. suited for comfort-wise. One of the things we did, Roger, with her is we actually add some more ride height, get some more weight on the front, and also soften it a little bit so she can get a better feedback. So she could be a little more aggressive and be comfortable with the bike moving around.
We can see there the 93 just coming through. That's Brianna Everett, and she's gone from 6th to 4th position there. And lots of changes of position in that second group. And Raj, when we see a group like this scrapping like that, they can cost themselves a lot of time, but their points battle is really for trying to get that 4th place finish, with the top 3 having a little bit of a pace advantage.
Yeah, you kind of go back and forth. This place is really hard to pass, so when the opportunity presents himself, you have to be there to take it.
And obviously as well, Freddie, for these riders, every time they're out on track, they're able to gain more and more experience. Yesterday would have been the longest stint that the riders were able to put together with 8 laps in a row. And you do see that progress during the course of a race weekend.
You can see there Camille making a pass on Brianna Everett and back up front with Kiara. But, you know, one of the things, like I said, they're constantly doing is improving. For some of the riders, it's first chance to have an opportunity to ride around this ridge circuit. For the new riders to the program, the 4 new ones this year, the riders that came from last year, they obviously had that advantage to be able to have a chance to have that experience.
We can see here Miranda Kane trying to give herself that chance to come back through. Raj, good defensive riding there from Shea McGregor to close the door.
Yeah, but that was she was just barely there, and I think next lap she can know, hey, if I just get a little bit closer, I'll be able to make that pass. And one thing here with passing is you're really close to somebody. It's almost better whenever you hang back a couple bike lengths and get that good run to make the pass.
Absolutely. This is such a exit corner racetrack where getting the drive off determines really how you can be able to make the pass under braking. But Shea is so strong down in 13. She made that pass earlier on Miranda and able to hold that position.
A couple of laps in a row there where we've seen Miranda into that last corner as well, running deep into the double apex left-hander and trying to give herself that drive down the start-finish straight. Just when you look at the riders in the class, Freddie, you can see here for Miranda, she's strong on the brakes into turn 1, but not able to use that speed on Shea. Shea's able to defend well, and all these riders seem to have different strengths in different areas.
Well, you know, you could see there Miranda was able to be deeper on the brakes, but it really didn't make an advantage for her because Shea then had the bike slow down in turn and was able to accelerate off the corner. And so it's like we were talking earlier, it's really going to be about not getting frustrated. Give yourself some room so you can get a drive and then make the pass under brakes. Yeah. And that's how she was able to do that yesterday. Of course, she lost that position at the end of the race to Shea going in 13, but we'll see how it works out today.
Just looking at the times as well, a 2:05.1 last time around from our race leader, Ciara Knebel. That's about a second faster than she went at this time yesterday. So the pace at the front is hotter than yesterday as Miranda Kane moves herself up into that second spot ahead of Shea McGregor. And Rog, this is where from this corner on last time around she was very strong. So she'll try and just open up a little bit of a gap now, but Shea's trying to give herself a good run down here.
Yeah, she needs to get a couple bike lengths before they get into turn 13, but Shea just so impressive. Every time she gets past, I mean, she's ready to fight right back.
You want to see that fight from riders. And Freddie, whenever you look at the selection process for this class, you mentioned that there's 4 rookies in the class this year. How do you find the riders first?
Well, the selection process is about them sending in an interview about why they want to be a part of the program. It's because this program is more than just about racing. It's about the build aspect of it, learning how a bike works, learning how to work on your own motorcycle. Most of them come in with that experience, but they still get better at it, and that's why we have professional mechanics that work with them during the build process that we do at the beginning of each season, and then we go into the training aspect to where you and how you interact with the motorcycle, because for most of them they don't have any experience riding a bike like the GT650. They come from Ninjas and other smaller displacement bikes. These bikes are heavier and they have particular characteristics. They also, then the racing is just the icing on the cake, and they're professionals. You know, they're out here. This is a program they want to improve. They want to get better. So we're seeing Camille making a pass on Lucy. But they want to get better each and every race and perform at their best. And for each of them, there's different dreams. We have so many different walks of life out here, from being a veterinarian to engineers, moms. We have this year, as we talked earlier in the season, we have 2 riders from Brazil our first international riders that are outside of North America. And so the program is really the best in the world as far as giving an opportunity to accomplish your dreams.
Yeah, and that progression also leading for Emma Betters to be involved with the program as a mechanic now, as we look at the number 25, our race leader, Ciara Knebel. Last time around, 2:04.4, Rog. And Miranda's doing a good job in the 186. She's managed to gap back to Shane McGregor now and able to match the pace of the race leader. Yeah,
and she's had a really good second sector through here. Miranda, you can visually see she has closed up the gap a little bit.
In that second sector, she's able to claw back a little bit of time, it looked like. But when you look at that final sector as well, Rog, last time around she was faster than the race leader, and that's with very different lines being taken, especially into that last corner. So she's trying to give herself those opportunities as she opens up that gap over the 4:57. And Shane McGregor, she's put up a good fight, but that gap now, Freddie, between McGregor and Kane, it's opened up to, looks like it's in and around that second mark now.
Well, I think Miranda, she certainly wanted to try to put the gap in that second sector so that Shea couldn't make the pass on her going down in 13 again, because that was her, it seemed to be her weakest spot, or the area where she was the most vulnerable. I don't know so much about weakness, but vulnerable. But you can look at now, Miranda's run the quickest lap of the race at 2:04.2.
Fastest lap of the weekend.
Fastest lap of the weekend so far.
You can see too, it was 2 seconds the lap before. Now it's probably under a second after they went through the chicane.
Yeah, that is impressive from Miranda Kane, and able to claw back that time to find 0.8 of a second last time around, and she's now right there with Ciara Knebel. And
now she's close enough.
With 3 races this weekend, Freddie, this is a real moment now for Miranda Kane. She took the pole position. She was beaten in yesterday's race, but we've still got another race this afternoon, and this is a chance to be able to lay down a bit of a marker.
Well, it's important for the championship. You know, coming into this weekend, we've had 3 races, you know, with the one at Barber, 2 at MotoAmerica. We had to have moved the Barber round, the second round, to here, so we actually have 3 this weekend. So these 2 races today are really critical for the championship, and for Miranda to be able to show to Ciara, you know, that this is not going to be a cakewalk.
Yeah, and this looks like it's going to be a pretty critical couple of corners for the championship as well. Miranda Kane on this lap, Rog, finding time hand over fist here. She's only within a couple of tenths of a second of Ciara Knebel. You can see on the run down in towards the left-hander, Knebel takes that defensive line a little bit, but for Miranda Kane, she's just faster everywhere right now, Rog.
Yeah, and I think whenever the opportunity comes, it's going to be hard to make the pass, but she's going to be able to follow, I believe, for a couple laps and see where she can be strong. And she looks good on the brakes today as well.
She does.
When you've got that speed advantage, though, Freddie, do you want to come through straight away and then try and break away from your rival, or do you want to wait until as late as possible?
Well, it actually depends on your effort level. You know how easy it was to get there, and as Roger just said, it's sometimes much easier to get there than it is then to make the pass to get around the rider, and we'll see how Miranda is able to set it up.
I don't want to sleep on Shane McGregor either on this one, because she's been able to pull back a lot of time last time around. New fastest lap of the race for Shane, and Rod, she's been able to pull back over a second on the race leader, and Ciara Knebel's looking a little bit vulnerable now with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, we're going to have a 3-rider battle here for the win as this race, 3 laps to go. Still a lot of time for Shea, needs to find about a second, but as a rider, you can see yourself catching the group in front of you, and it gives you that little extra motivation.
Yeah, 0.8 of a second down on Miranda Kane, and 1.2 seconds down on the race leader. So for Shane McGregor right there on the 4:57, she's got a real chance to be able to add to not only yesterday's podium, but go and match that as well with second yesterday. She will definitely think, Freddie, that she's got a chance in this one.
You can see that coming through here. Miranda seems to be really strong now in the second sector of the circuit.
What's interesting as well, though, in Sector 1 last time around, Ciara Knebel trying to answer back. She had the fastest first sector of the race. So Knebel now at this stage of the race with 2.5 laps to go, she knows that she's under pressure, and maybe it's just coming back to her ever so slightly. But for Miranda Kane on the 186, she'll also know, Rog, that she's had those lap after lap where she's been faster, but she needs to dig in now to make sure she gives herself that chance to overtake.
Yeah, and sometimes you can get caught off guard when you follow somebody through a sector and they never pull away, and then all of a sudden they drop the hammer and you get caught a little bit by surprise.
Yeah, in that middle sector, it was a tenth of a second faster for Miranda Kane, and we can see here Shea McGregor on the number 457, quarter of a second faster in the middle sector than our race leader, Ciara Knebel. So the top three just closing up on one another, and we'll see what they're able to do when they come across the line this time around. But it's been 3 fastest laps of the race in a row. First one was for Knebel, then it was Kane, last time around was Shea McGregor. So they're all trading blows with one another here at this stage. But into the final couple of corners now, you can see for Miranda Kane, she looks a little bit closer this time around than she did last time, and with 2 laps to go, she needs to make sure she gives herself that opportunity to get alongside Ciara down in towards turn 1. We've seen some overtaking moves today, Freddie. Everyone looks like they've got a little bit more confidence in their bikes compared to yesterday.
Well, like I said, they've just been working slowly but surely, just getting the bikes set up, changing compression and rebound on the front and the back of the bikes, and with the preload and different settings. Again, it's a comfort level, and it's been mainly in the front, getting where the front, the steering of the bike and the chatter a little bit that they were experiencing. But to me, Raj, just watching it, it looks like that all the bikes up front are definitely better and more stable.
Yeah, more stable, and you can see that in the change of directions through that first sector, like where we just seen them go through there. They were able, even through that first chicane, they're a lot more stable through there.
Yeah, and you can see here for the race leaders, last time around Ciara Knebel had her fastest lap of the race, but the 2 riders chasing her down were still faster than her by a tenth of a second. Miranda Kane in the first half of this lap, very strong in that first sector to be able to keep applying the pressure on Knebel, and this is where the bit of experience helps as well, Freddie. These riders all raced last year in the class, and being able to know what it takes over the course of the race to be able to defend. This is their 13th start in the BTR class, and Miranda Kane with a good run now to try and give herself the chance to attack on Knebel, but looks like it's going to go down to that last lap for the race victory, Raj.
Looks like now she can, from this part of the track, you can kind of set up for turn 13, get as close as you can, lag back a little bit on corner entry for Miranda, and just work on this run out of this right-hander down this little short chute.
See here for Miranda Kane there, only a couple of bike lengths down on Ciara Knebel at this stage as we head up towards turn 13. Not close enough to make a move into there, but we'll see what she does through that last corner. Last time around she was a lot faster through that final corner than Ciara Knebel, and could leave her where she's in a position to be able to try and attack on the run in towards turn 1 for the last time in this race. McGregor's doing a very good job in this one on the 457 to be able to bring herself back in, and suddenly she's right there as well in a 3-rider fight here at the front, with the top 3 all split by less than a second as they come across the line. Knebel actually able to extend a little bit of a lead there on that final sector. Her personal best of the race, half a second faster than Miranda Kane last time around, but Shea McGregor able to match the pace of the race leader. Yesterday, Rog, we saw McGregor on the last lap able to come through on Kane to be able to take that second spot, and she looks like she's confident to be able to try and attack again. Yeah,
and she's charging hard. You can just see right now she's going to be there as they go through turns 3, 4 down into 5.
This looks like it's going to be a good first sector from Ciara Knebel to be able to open up that margin as well. She's been able to open up around about a second now on the chasers. So for Ciara Knebel, if she's able to run through instant free for the rest of this lap, she should be able to hold off for another race victory. And for Miranda Kane, she's got a few tenths of a second in hand over McGregor, but it was the same situation yesterday, and she needs to make sure, Freddie, that she doesn't make a mistake now, doesn't leave the door open.
Yeah, for her, the critical area is going to be going down into 13 if Shea can get close enough. But it looks like that Ciara was able to pull out that last section. She's really was strong from 13 through the last corner on the previous 2-3 laps, and that's where she's been able to gap Miranda, and now Miranda couldn't get close enough in that first sector.
Yeah, last time around was a half a second was the difference in that sector, and that was what allowed her to open up that gap and not leave herself having to defend into turn 1. You can see here on the last lap though, Rod, Shea McGregor just getting ever so close now to that second position of Miranda Kane, and this looks like it's set up to be very similar to yesterday's race.
Yeah, it doesn't look like she's going to be close enough right now, but you can see she is fighting hard, and we've seen Miranda struggle a little bit down into turn 15, but Shea's going for it.
McGregor comes from a long way back, and goes down, and Miranda Kane also runs off the track. This is where it's important for Shea McGregor to get her bike back upright, because they've got 27 seconds seconds in hand over the right line. That's Miranda Kane that's gone down now as well. And they've got a big margin over the chasing pack, 27 seconds back to Camille Conrad. But for those riders, they need to get the bike upright, need to get restarted. But Ciara Knebel able to claim this race victory, and 2 race wins here at the Ridge. And still race 3 to come this afternoon. Miranda Kane doesn't look like she's been able to get that bike started, as she can now finally see the chasing pack coming through, and that looks like Camille Conrad on the 85 coming through. That'll be into P2 if Shea McGregor wasn't able to get her bike started as well. But for our race winner, Ciara Knebel, once again we were able to see that she was able to keep that cool head. But Rog, you said it at the time, Shea was coming from a long way back to try and make that move into 13. Shea was able to get her bike restarted. She's going to still come away with another podium finish in 3rd spot, with Camille Conrad able to claim 2nd spot. But unfortunately for Miranda Kane, you can see hasn't been able to get that bike restarted, and that's a very costly error for the championship contender. And Freddie, for her, she does need to get that bike restarted.
Yes,
there is still points for 11th.
Yeah, she needs to try to get it, obviously, to be able to finish the race, and
she's trying hard.
You can see here the track workers just trying to get that bike moved as well. And for Miranda, we'll be able to see what happened for her during that last lap. And you can see just how far back that Shea McGregor is coming from down in towards turn 13, Rog. But just loses the front through there. Miranda's got nowhere to go, and she runs off the track. And then once she's onto that grass, it's easy to have an incident through there as well.
Yeah, Miranda did a great job of avoiding running over Shea. When she went down, she lost the front under braking, and then unfortunately, she looks like she had recovered okay, but then
it's like she might have used the front brake a little bit
to slow down, and of course the track was going away, and it's really unfortunate for Miranda.
Yeah, once you're into that grass, you could see just all the undulation from turn 13 down, and just gets caught out in that, and a costly mistake for her championship credentials. But for Miranda, she's still trying to get that bike back, but for her, she'll still start from that pole position for race 3 this afternoon. But the frustration there for Miranda Kane, our pole sitter, with that crash on the last lap.
Royal Enfield Build Train Race is brought to you by Royal Enfield since 1901 and by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Double top of this weekend for Ciara Knebel with another race victory to back up race 1. She'll be in action for race 3, trying to make it a perfect hat trick for this weekend. Camille Conrad able to come through from those last lap incidents to move up from 4th into 2nd, and Shea McGregor, despite that crash, able to come away with a 2nd podium of the weekend. Lucy Blondell and Brianna Everett able to round out our top 5 finishers. In terms of the points, Ciara Knebel continues to lead the championship standings, and it's 16 points to her advantage from Shea McGregor now as we move towards race 3 this afternoon. Miranda Kane 23 points down on the race, on the championship leader Ciara Knebel. Race 2 here at the Ridge was able to see a 3-way fight at the front of the field. Ciara Knebel able to lead in those early stages, and Shea McGregor being hunted down by Miranda Kane as they traded places during the course of this 8-lap race. Kane able to get herself up into 2nd spot, the pole sitter trying to recover from that slower start. Further down the field, Camille Conrad was able to come through on Lucy Blondell for 4th position. On that last lap, we saw this incident down in towards turn 13 with Shea McGregor losing the front, and then Miranda Kane running wide. Our race winner, Ciara Knebel, was able to have a clear run through to the finish, almost 34 seconds clear of Camille Conrad, who was able to come through from that incident to come 2nd in this race and claim those 20 points. Down into Parc Ferme, you can see for Shea McGregor another podium this weekend, and for Ciara Knebel another race victory. And Michael Hill, you're down there in Parc Ferme.
Yeah, down here in Park Ferme with another race win for Kira Knebel. Kira, you will not have seen what happened behind you, but the podium fight was a pretty good one there.
Yeah, every time I came down around 15, I saw her coming down the waterfall behind me, and I knew that it was going to be pretty close there, but it's unfortunate. It looks like she went down in 13. It's a pretty tight corner, especially if you're probably trying to beat somebody into it. So I ran a pretty defensive line for that last lap, assuming she was still behind me. So it looked like she was up on her feet though and good to go, so that's good. And I know that we're going to have it ready for her to fight for the next race too. Thanks to our great sponsors, Royal Enfield here, and Dimag wheels have been holding really great. Super nice lines coming through. I'm still trying to get my elbow down in 6, but it's feeling so good out there. The track is really sticky. Love the Dunlop tires on it.
Great job, of course. That's 2 from 2 so far. Come on, Ridge Motorsports Park. Let's hear it for our double winner so far. Still one more race to go. Applause now, too, also for Camille Conrad. And, well, we've said it so many times in commentary over the years. You've got to get it to the line. You were there to pick up the pieces. It was a solid ride from you regardless, but you'll take the 20 points.
Oh man, I'll take it. I'm so grateful. And I just want to give a big shout out to Shay for going down and still finishing on the podium. That's incredible. And unfortunately there was an incident, but I was able to capitalize on that, which I'm grateful for. I just want to give a big shout out to my friends. They all came to see me today, and I'm so grateful for all of them to be here. And I want to thank my sponsors, Royal Enfield, BTR Race, Parts Unlimited, and give a shout out to my mom.
Absolutely. Hello, Mum. Good job for Camille. And, of course, if you were watching yesterday on Mike on the Mic, we saw Camille's fan club here, so she absolutely delights them. Let's come across and then speak to our third-place finisher. Looks a little bit despondent, but as Camille said, Shay, that was a great race. Going down is part of racing. You were able to pick it up and get back on the podium. Just talk us through that last lap in particular.
I tried to make the same moves I did yesterday, and Miranda knew it was coming, and she was holding tight to the inside, and I was on the front brakes as hard as I could be, and the front couldn't hold it anymore. This is the most shameful podium I've ever had. I did not know that I took Miranda out until I came around for the parade lap, and I'm so sorry. Thank you to all of our sponsors that are going to help us fix our bikes back up and get out for the next race.
Absolutely. That's 2 podiums for you. Good job. We'll head it back upstairs then as this podium is about to get underway. But there's a big crowd here, and they are loving BTR.
Thanks, Mike. And just on that final lap as well, Kira Knebel able to set the fastest lap of the race. So she might have been riding defensively, but she was still able to ride very fast on that final lap to be able to hold off any of the riders trying to chase her down. We've still got one more race of action here in the Build Train Race class. 12:45 we'll be back in action for the final race of the weekend for the Build Train Race class. That third race of the weekend, Freddie, obviously a different challenge for these riders as well.
Yeah, well, they'll all be working toward getting the bikes set up even more so for themselves. And it's unfortunate. I know that Shay feels bad for crashing, trying to make that pass and affecting Miranda's race. But they'll both get back out there for the third race. It's great. They have 3 races this weekend, get the bikes back working, and get back out there, and I'm sure Miranda will be ready to go.
Yeah, crashing's part of racing, and she's been able to bounce back to take that second podium of the weekend. But so far this weekend, it's been all about Kira Knebel with 2 wins from 2 in the Build Train Race class.